very much. And before we break for tea and coffee, I just want to take a few minutes to take you back into the future. And looks like the future is green, right? Is the future green? Yeah. I want to take you back to a time in the history of this country when the future was very green, and that is 2010. And let me just, in fact, we have a prize. If we can quickly make one prize available, and I'm going to ask you one question, and then I'm going to play you the song. What was the name of the 2010 anthem, the name and the artist? Okay, the lady there, I saw your hand. Please come up. Take your prize, please. Prize. Can we have a prize? Abdul? Can we have a prize? Abdul, can we have a prize? Prize giving.
Choosing your battles, pick yourself up and dust yourself off and back in the saddle. You're on the front line, everyone's watching. You know it's serious, we're getting closer, this isn't over. The pressure's on, you feel it, but you got it all, believe it. When you fall, get up, oh, and if you fall, get up, Samina, mina, sangalewa, 'cause this is Africa. Samina, mina, this time for Africa. Listen to your God, this is our motto. Your time to shine, don't wait in line, y vamos por todo. People are raising their expectations.
So hopefully this brings back good memories. In fact, I want you to share a little bit later think about your best memory from 2010. I'm going to share mine, what was your best moment, your best memory from 2010. And my World Cup journey started, my 2010 journey started when I published a book on how Germany, the previous host, won the World Cup of Nation Branding. And President Beki then enrolled me in the destination branding campaign for 2010. Now, two books, one about Germany, one about South Africa. And as I was documenting the World Cup in the media, I had a helicopter view, day by day, what was happening and what was really the key to success in 2010. And as I said this morning, and you might remember some of the headlines, right? That was part of the Pridometer, as we called it. The key to the success was leadership. Everybody was aligned. As the MEC was saying just now, everybody was aligned to the vision of making 2010 the greatest World Cup ever. From business to government to civic society to churches to the people in the street. So what I want to do is I want to unpack briefly before tea and coffee a couple of the factors because there are lessons to be learned and there are lessons to be applied on how we can reunite South Africa and do exactly that, winning the World Cup of nation building. There were 7, I call them emotivators, motivational triggers that bring people together and get human beings to give you a positive response. And the first one, the first team emotivator, has everything to do with the financial services industry. Why do we, or insurance industry, why do you buy policies? Because we all have a need, the human being has a need for assurance, right? You need to feel safe and assured about the future. You need to feel assured about your relationship. You need to feel assured that there's enough money at the end of the month. And this is why we have positive and negative vehicles to ensure assurance in our lives. So for example, acquiring new skills, getting the MBA, saving money. And negative vehicles is when people become a slave to routine, when you turn into a control freak or your boss turns into a control freak, right? and when we start hoarding. All of these are assurance behaviors, lack of assurance. So how did we assure the country, how did we ensure the nation that yes, we can pull the biggest sporting event off? And here's a promise that President Beki made at the end of the German World Cup.
And I want to say to you, Mr. President, we will host in 2010 the most successful FIFA Soccer World Cup. And we'll keep that promise. Africa, Mr. President, is ready. Africa's time has come. Africa is calling. Come to Africa in 2010.
So this was a promise made in front of the nation, in front of the world. This is when you issue a promise, a vision, and you commit your team to this vision. And then we had 4 years to deliver. So in effect, the 2010 promise entered us into a service level agreement for 2010, right? That was for the country, for the world. Then on the field, do you remember Bafana in the run-up to 2010? Stadiums were empty, right? Nobody followed Bafana. They were on a losing streak. So how could we ensure, because a winning team is important to any sporting event, to any sporting tournament, how could we ensure the nation that yes, we can compete on the field? And that's where the Confed Cup, remember the Confed Cup, 2009, proved to be vitally important in dry running the World Cup.
Impi, wonansi mpieza, ubani benga chinja mabubesi. Impi, wonansi mpieza, ubani benga chinja mabubesi. Impi, wonansi mpieza, ubani benga chinja mabubesi. Impi, wonansi mpieza, ubani benga chinja mabubesi.
Do you remember that moment when President Blatter unveiled South Africa? It was yesterday, 2004, 20 years ago. 15 May, my birthday, 2004 at 12 o'clock. Where were you? Who remembers where you were? Can we have a mic going around? The first person? You remember, please. Where were you at 12 o'clock when this announcement was made, 15 May 2004? Anybody? Nobody? Whoa, yeah, please. Brett, tell us.
Yeah, so I remember this day like it was yesterday, and so now I'm thinking about it, still getting goosebumps about just how it was like just an eruption, and it was actually at my dad. He worked at Telkom. I was still in school, and I went along with my dad, and when it came to the announcement, it was actually at my dad's work function, and everyone stopped, and then everyone said, no, they're announcing who's going to win the 2010 World Cup. And there was maybe about 10,000 Telkom employees there. And there was a big screen, and I remember like that moment of suspension when they pulled the envelope and they hadn't revealed it yet. You could probably cut through the tension with a knife at that stage. And then when they pulled up South Africa, because they showed the name before he announced it, and as soon as everyone saw South Africa, it was just like a massive eruption, and there's just massive joy of unity and inspiration. I can just feel that energy, how it was just sort of a game changer. Everyone just came together, and it was just something special you could feel was coming. So
Thank you.
Very special day.
Thank you, Brett. Great memory, 20 years ago, almost to the day. So this is how we assured the nation. But there was another critical stakeholder, the visitors, right? How did we assure the visitors that this was a good place to visit, a safe place to visit? You heard the MEC talking about community safety. We're all worried about. How did we do this in 2010? In the run-up to 2010, when in January 2010, the BBC filed this report. Sorry. Hang on. 1 second. Supposed to be a video. Okay, I jumped the video, sorry about that. So this is a scorecard, not a single major incident in the 31 days of 2010. So yes, we can. If you remember Operation Blue Light, not only was it totally safe, it felt totally safe. I remember at one night, we forgot to lock the front door. That's how safe it felt. So here's a big question for you. How can we make South Africans feel more assured about the future? Because as the MEC said, if you don't feel safe about the future, you will not go into business, you will not do your best. How can we make South Africans, please, the mic. Quick idea, how can we make South Africans feel more assured? Yes, Brett, give somebody else a chance. Somebody other than Brett. Any ideas? Any ideas? You really want Brett to do it again? Okay, Brett, it's your turn.
Apologies. Yeah, you're going to be sick of the sound of my voice by the end of today, but I suppose when people talk about assurance, sometimes you automatically think security is physical security. And yes, it is physical security because you want to be able to be safe in your well-being, being able to go out and about and not have to worry about your physical safety and security. But safety and security is more than just physical safety and security. It's financial security. It's your health security, but also mental security. So how do you have that holistic safety and security? And I think that's what we need to strive for as South Africans. Yes, to be physically safe, but also to feel financially safe, to feel safe from a health perspective, but also mentally safe, because there's so many things consuming us in our everyday lives. And I think we can be very harsh on ourselves as South Africans in terms of what isn't going right. Sometimes no water, often no power. But there's lots of things we can be blessed for in terms of if you go overseas, I'm not sure if you've had this experience, but as soon as you come back and land at Otabo and you meet that Home Affairs official that's stamping your passport, there's a greeting with a smile and you just feel that sense of being back home. And I think that's something we take for granted. And only through working together we can have our holistic safety and security.
Thank you. Thank you, Brett. Okay, there's going to be one more question for somebody other than Brett. And there's going to be a prize to be won. Do we still have a prize? Abdul, do we still have a prize? A giveaway? Okay, cool. Coming up right now. The second team emotivator is all about challenge. We have a need for challenge, not just assurance. Because if your life was totally assured, it would be boring. We all have a need for challenge. That's why we set ourselves targets, we run the comrades, we go to sporting events. And this is how we satisfy our need for challenge, our human need when you learn a new skill, when you travel far afield like Brett, when you do extreme sports like Red Bull. Negatively, if you have too little challenge in your life, that's when we turn into a drama king or queen. That's when we abuse substances, right? And that's when we might entertain extramarital activities. So you get the idea. Now, how did we satisfy the need of challenge? The need of challenge in 2010, and it had everything to do with proving our collective worth as a team on the field. There's definitely a video here. Why is it not playing? Any chance you can play this video? It's the first goal in the first Bafana goal in the first game. And here's the question to win the prize. Who scored name and first name and surname in which minute? Which minute? Which game? Who scored which minute? Or closest to the winning, to the minute? Who scored which team against which team? You know that? Give me a minute. Give me a minute. 30 seconds? No. It was in the second half. Second half. Wow, Lizzie, how did you know that? Very close. Very, very close. Thank you. Not sure what that is.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, not to worry, not to worry. Let me go back to clicking, if I may. Sorry, clicker? Can you enable the... Okay. Okay, so obviously Simpiwe Chabalala, the game, opening game against Mexico. Where were you? Where did you watch this game? Who was at Soccer City? Nobody. Wow, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Thank you. 1-2-3. Great. Okay, there we go. And how did we make our visitors feel challenged? Remember, many visitors travel. You might travel because you seek a challenge, you seek an adventure. And we had many campaigns. Amongst one was a campaign to win an adventure trail on CNN for 10 couples. So again, remember, visitors love South Africa for reasons like this. Now, the third emotive. So here's a big question. How can we make, we're all negative, we're immensely negatively challenged, right? We constantly worry, we doubt, we're skeptical. But how can we make South Africans feel positively challenged? This was a positive challenge, despite everything. In the run-up to 2010, we had xenophobia. We had the first bout of load shedding in Coburg, remember? We had constant talk about Plan B. We had the attack, January 2010, AFCON, the attack on the Angolan team. There was a lot of challenges, but collectively we rose. It was a positive challenge. How can we make South Africans feel positively challenged? Any ideas? Yes. Microphone, please.
Yes.
Can we have the mic?
Sure.
Roving mic. To there. The lady.
Got you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
As Brett's assistant, I think that having gone through the experience of 2010, having gone through an international experience, I think South Africans always think that the grass is greener on the other side, that problems don't exist on the other side, or even the worst rhetoric that I hear is that, yeah, they exist, but they're not as bad as here. You know, that it's actually, this is the worst where we are. And I think positively challenged for me means knowing and understanding that when visitors, and I would say, you know, this is obviously a guesstimate, but majority, probably 8 out of 10 visitors when they come here are so grateful to be in a place where there's weather that we have, where there is the friendliness that we have, the food that we have. Even things like that we may take for granted and we should actually work on and take seriously, but the domestic help that we have, you know, access to so many languages, access to so many things that other countries do not have, you know, and when they come here and stay as visitors or stay as students or stay as expats, they enjoy that. Granted, there are challenges like crime and corruption. There is crime and corruption in the Netherlands too. Bicycles are getting stolen left, right, and center. But I jest, but there is, you know, and I think, Brett, what you were saying about a sense of security being much more than physically secure, it's about being mentally secure. I think that's what we need to positively challenge ourselves as. I heard a gentleman earlier talking about their daughter being in the UK, being a CA, doesn't want to come back. But I'm wondering, what are we telling our children overseas about coming back home? What are we expressing to them about saying, listen, get your qualification, get your Harvard MBA, get your whatever, but come back here, because I promise you now, a gogo in Tembisa needs you far more than a gogo in Rotterdam. Needs you far more. Whatever solutioning you can do, social impact, responsible capitalism, shared value, whatever solutioning you can do, a gogo here in Khayelitsha or a youth here in Welkom or whatever it is, even in Sandton, they need you far more than somebody in New York needs you for what we're doing. But yes, we want you to have that international exposure. We want you to do that. But come and apply it here. Come and build businesses here. Come and learn. The lady from Nedbank was talking about entrepreneurship, having an entrepreneurial mind. Even us within businesses, we need to be entrepreneurial. How do we build entrepreneurship within the business? So we stay in the business is then able to appoint more people, whatever, because not everybody can go out there and have the finances, the resources, the wherewithal, the confidence to start a bakery of their own. But if internally you can come up with great ideas to spur Nedbank, to spur PPS, to spur any kind of businesses, we can do that. So the positive challenge is us looking within and saying, what are we telling ourselves? Is it true? Is it fair? Is it accurate? Is it responsive to the need of South Africans as well as Africans? It cannot always be external and things are external. We also need to take responsibility of what we are shaping in terms of the things we write, the things we say, the messaging we put out, and the hope that we put out. So on behalf of Brett and I...
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm getting tickets.
Thank you. Now, the third demotivator is a need that you're born with. When you come out of that womb, how did it feel? How did you feel? You felt connected, right? You were connected until they cut the umbilical cord. We have a need for connection. And that is not a connection screen to screen, it's a really real human connection, person to person, face to face. And how do we satisfy this need for connection? Performing good deeds, right? Joining a club, social club. You opened a policy at work for people, making it easy for people to connect. But if you don't have enough connection in your life, at work, what do? We compensate by dominating others, oversharing on social media, right? And ganging up at work against management. All behaviors to compensate for the lack of connection. So how did we satisfy connection in 2010? And how did we really? It was one team, one country. One of the great initiatives, many great initiatives, was Football Friday. Remember, every Friday we were donning the Bafana shirt. Remember, automatically, immediately, you're part of the team. It was so easy. And then we had connection with the visitors. I don't know whether you remember Melrose Ark. Melrose Ark in 2010. They kitted out, they did two genius things. They attracted the Mexican fans by putting up the Ángel de Libertad, the Angel of Liberty, the Mexican Angel of Liberty on the square. And then Primi Piatti kitted out the entire shop, Brazilian. Created a great connection between local fans and Brazilian fans. So, here's a big question. In a time where we live so disconnected many times from each other, where the world is disconnected, how do we make South Africans feel more connected? How do we make South Africans feel more connected? Remember what the MEC said, united in diversity. How do we do that? We did it through Football Fridays and other activities in 2010. Any ideas? How do we? Yes. Please, Mike.
Is it on? Thank you, Dr. Nik. I was sitting in trepidation, hoping that you'd see me. I had my hand up. So before the visitors came, there was a group of people, and I was part of that group, and I'm actually feeling quite nostalgic today. We took 200 artists to Germany. We traveled throughout Germany, and we shared our arts, our culture, our music. We had a 200 dance troupe group that just did dancing. We had poets, we had Lebo Mashile and all the fantastic poets that we have in South Africa. And we effectively went to market South Africa to the world to say we are ready to receive you. This is what you can expect when you come to South Africa. So the connectedness that we felt was connecting them to our art, our culture, our music, our crafts, our food, and we culminated with 2,000, I remember the evening, it was crazy, 2,000 VIPs, global VIPs that we hosted. And we gave them the most fantastic show. We had our artists performing, and some of them are sadly not alive anymore. Johnny Clegg joined us from France. We had Double HP, Jabu Kanyile. So a lot of those artists are not alive anymore, but what a fantastic opportunity for us to share our music and our arts and our culture with the world. And that's how we were able to bring them here, to say to them, this is what you can expect when you come to South Africa for the World Cup.
Thank you. Thank you. Great ways to connect. So why don't we sing more? Why don't we dance more? Why don't we do more arts? This is how we connect as human beings. And then to wrap up, the one key motivator, team motivator, we all have a need to feel significant, right? You have to feel significant. You have to feel that what you do makes a difference to other human beings. Otherwise, you will not be motivated. So how do we satisfy significance? When you aim to be the best, when you publish a book, and we're publishing a book tomorrow, when you provide for others. If you don't have enough significance in your life, that's when we start tearing others down, right? PhD, pull him, pull her down. Office politics, because people don't feel significant enough at work. Acts of violence, many times, because people do not feel significant enough. So, how did we satisfy significance in 2010? Do you remember, who remembers the Bafana parade? Do we have one more gift? I need one more gift. Do we have one more gift? Okay, if we do, tell me, where was the Bafana parade, on which day, at which time? Here's a hint, it was before kickoff. Before kickoff was on 11 June. It was before. When? Where were you? You must remember the bus, the Bafana parade. Coach Barrera said he's never seen anything like that before, where the entire country rallied behind the team before one ball was kicked. Where was the parade? When? I need to see hands. Hands, hands, hands. Where? When?
I can't remember the time and date, but it was around Sunday.
Scented. Yeah, when? Which day? How many days before kickoff? Before 11? Yes. 5th of June? Unfortunately not. Who's saying 9? Who's saying 9? Who's saying 9? 9 for 1, 2, 3. 9 June. 2 days to go.
June on Gwen Lane in Sandton.
9 June. Exactly. Thank you. Abdul, we need one more gift. One more gift. And I will leave you with this. I honestly believe the time is now, Kenako, and the future is green. Thank you.